Hey everybody, how we doing tonight?
Hey everyone.
Surprise, surprise! Grizzly is on the road again. So he asked me to come in and work the controls behind the scene here for Chris. So we're gonna have a good show for you tonight. If I stop knocking my microphone over, what the heck was that? Who do we got tonight? Gary Spikes in the crowd. Val,
Hello,
Sunny,
Gary.
nice to see you, Sunny. Rebecca's back around again. Cheyenne, welcome, Cheyenne. Good to see you here tonight. I saw Twisted in the crowd in there somewhere. Twisted, welcome, welcome. Kathy, good evening, Kathy. Chris, what do we got going on tonight, man?
Tonight we are going to be counting down the 10 most unusual and somewhat most popular UFO encounters.
Fantastic. So, how you been doing, bud? It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk.
It's been a few months. Yeah, I've been doing fantastic. Doing a lot of shows, true crimes with Grizzly Chris and other stuff. And so yeah, I've been pretty much busy nonstop.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the slides for us here, and let's go ahead and get it started there, bud. Here's your top 10 list. Take it away.
All right, the first incident we're going to talk about is 1952. UFO stalks British military jet. So in 1952, a rather peculiar and unexplainable event occurred in North Yorkshire, England. It was reported that a bright silver disc-shaped object was hovering in the sky. Approximately 20 minutes, the object was as large as a bus and was witnessed by people in different areas, such as um, I can't really say the names, Knaresborough and Starbuck, as well as Royal Air Force pilots. Now, the Ministry of Defense launched an investigation into the incident, but unfortunately, they never provided an explanation for the sighting. Now, the following day, the same object was spotted by a group of people at a nearby factory. This time, however, witnesses described the object as even larger than before, and it was seen performing impossible maneuvers for any known aircraft. The sighting continued for several days, with hundreds of people witnessing the object's presence. Some even managed to take photos of it and track it using radar technology. Remember, this was 1952. They had radar technology even going on then. Numerous theories have been put forward to explain what these UFOs could have been. Now, some suggest they were alien spacecraft, while others believe they were part of a secret government project. However, despite the many speculations, no concrete evidence either of these theories. There's no concrete evidence to support either of these theories. And there's a photograph that you see there. This is 5 of the Air Force men who saw the flying saucer. Now we have Grimm, Sergeant Grimm, uh, Dwayne Masters, and also we have Thompson and I can't read all the names, but Kilburn is also there. They're going from basically left to right. 5 men that saw this UFO event. And this was in 1952. And we'll move on to the next UFO event, Rendlesham Forest Incident, one of my favorite to discuss. Now, I'm sure some of you may have heard this before. You might hear some information that you didn't know before. So let's get this started here. It was December of 1980. A group of U.S. Air Force personnel stationed at a nearby airbase reported seeing strange lights in Rendlesham Forest, England. Now, upon investigating, they claimed to have seen an unidentified flying object, UFO. The incident has been widely debated and speculated, with some dismissing it as a hoax or even a misunderstanding. Now, others believing it to be a genuine encounter with extraterrestrial life. Despite the controversy, several pieces of evidence suggest something unusual occurred in Rendlesham Forest that night. The U.S. Air Force personnel eyewitness accounts are consistent and detailed with physical evidence from radiation readings and strange markings on nearby trees. Witnesses described the lights as unusual and unlike any aircraft. leading them to follow the lights and see a large oval-shaped object hovering in the trees, emitting a bright light. Now, this object was about the size of a house, the size of a house. Okay, now the Rendlesham Forest UFO sighting remains one of the most intriguing cases of its kind, one of my favorites, fascinating people worldwide. Whether or not it was a genuine encounter with aliens or something unexplained that happened, it's a mystery that may never fully be solved. And there's a couple of pictures there from the of the UFO itself. And there's the outline of basically showing you where it laid at. And definitely this, to my notion, this is definitely a UFO, a genuine UFO encounter. Um, there's no question about that. And even other reports that we get in MUFON can kind of relate to this particular incident. So pretty much when you get two or three reports that are almost identical, that kind of backs things up. So this is not the first time this saucer, this UFO has been seen before. And I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room, and for my friend Rachel, who might be watching at some point, hi to you too. And this definitely is a great top 10 list. And now we'll move on to another one, 1947, Mount Rainier, Washington. Okay, let's do this here. Okay, here we go. Set the stage here. In 1947, private pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing a peculiar high-speed object flying near Mount Rainier, Washington. This encounter is regarded as the first widely reported UFO sighting worldwide. Attention and triggering numerous similar accounts of flying saucers across the United States. Now, while on a business trip in California Air Base, Arnold learned of a $5,000 reward, equivalent to $61,000 today, for discovering a U.S. Marine Corps C-46 transport airplane that had crashed near Mount Rainier. He decided, well, why not? Make a brief detour and search for it. The weather was clear and the wind was mild. A few minutes before 3 p.m., about 9,200 feet in altitude and near Mineral, Washington, he gave up his search and started heading eastward towards Yakima. It was then he spotted a bright flying light similar to sunlight reflecting off a mirror. Now Arnold estimated that the nine objects were moving at least 1,200 miles per hour, twice the speed of any known aircraft. He described them as disc-shaped with diameters of about 25 to say 50 feet and metallic in appearance. The object was moving in V formation and changing direction erratically, giving Arnold an eerie feeling. The Air Force investigated Arnold's sighting, but could not identify the objects. They concluded that the objects were likely either weather balloons or other human-made objects. But Arnold and other witnesses insisted that they saw something else entirely. And there's a photo of, you see the photo of the flying saucer there that he is holding in his hand.
And that's Arnold too. That's actually Arnold, the guy who
That
made
is,
the report right
Arnold.
there.
That is Arnold himself, and that's a photo of the flying saucer, and you can see kind of the V-shaped formation. And I've done cases like this before, so this is not the first time I've seen a saucer of that shape.
Now, Chris, we want to back up just 1 second here. There's a couple people in the audience that had a question about a picture from the Rendlesham Forest right here. Rebecca, they were asking, what's the black figure standing next to the tree? That is a picture of an investigator. This happened a long time ago. When was it? Right up here?
1952, I believe.
Yeah, 52. And so that was a photograph. This black figure is an investigator. And there was another photo that was clearer, but it didn't show the 3 points that they claim were the landing feet of the spaceship, which was right here. You can see the 3 triangle points there. So the black figure is simply one of the investigators out there at the site. So I just wanted to answer that question for you guys. And then Sonny commented, we're going to go forward here back to the Mount Rainier with Arnold. Sonny said, Chris, is that encounter is the one that coined the word saucer for the world, as in flying saucer. Is that where it was coined?
I believe so. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Sonny, for that bit of information.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank
Fantastic.
you, Rebecca.
All right. Keep on going.
All right, we're moving on now to our next UFO event. This happened in North Korea, and this is an interesting sighting, a very interesting sighting, because during the Korean War on May 20th, 1951, a group of 20 American soldiers stationed near Choron, North Korea, witnessed an unusual object in the sky. Now, this object, excuse me, was about the size of a car and made sharp turns and movements that were impossible for any known aircraft. Now, the soldiers also reported feeling very ill after seeing the object. Several theories explain why some individuals reported feeling sick after a UFO encounter. First, as an unknown object in the sky can trigger a fight or flight response in the body, leading to symptoms such as nausea or dizziness. Some individuals may be more sensitive to the electromagnetic fields often associated with UFO sightings, which can cause headaches and other physical discomfort. Um, Now, the United States Air Force investigated the incident, but no conclusive explanation was found. Some speculate that the object was an alien spacecraft, while others believe it was a top secret government project. And I believe we have a photo or two of that, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. This is the area where this was located. And Definitely, I do believe that all of these encounters that you're going to hear tonight are indeed UFO encounters, legitimate UFO encounters, only because I can back those up with other UFO reports from MUFON. But definitely, when you come close to a UFO or get in the area of a UFO, it can cause effects. I've had cases where people have been sunburned, they've had a bad bruising. I've had people with even had swelling on their head because of being too close to a spacecraft. Others just get like a bad sunburn, nausea, different things, upset stomachs. But yeah, if you get too close to a UFO craft, it can leave you feeling very awkward. And thanks to
Yeah, and
everybody.
that's not the only one on our list tonight that has actually had that kind of reaction, that there were people have been physically affected. And
Right.
if you study UFOs, like you said, it's rare, but it does happen when people get too close to a UFO. It's happened multiple times over the years.
In fact, one of the recent cases I did where a gentleman had a huge sunburn right on his stomach area from walking outdoors and being in contact with it. And he didn't even know it was there. We'll move on. Thank you, Sean. Move on to our next encounter. This is one of the most more memorable encounters, and it's still going on to this day. Skinwalker Ranch, Utah. Now, the Utah Skinwalker Ranch has long been shrouded in mystery and intrigue. This ranch has been the subject of numerous TV shows, documentaries, movies, exploring the alleged supernatural occurrences on the property. One of the most popular shows to feature Skinwalker Ranch is the History Channel's The Secret Skinwalker Ranch, which is still ongoing and new episodes are airing. The show follows a team of scientists and researchers investigating the strange phenomena reported on the ranch, including UFO sightings, animal mutilations, strange lights in the sky. Now, despite the ranch's attention on the owners have remained tight-lipped about the strange occurrences that occur there. Some now believe that the ranch is cursed or haunted, while others suggest it may be habited by extraterrestrial activity. And there is a great book you can buy off Amazon. It's called there's a couple of them off to do with Skinwalker Ranch. But one is the Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. If you read that book, it goes into great details of eyewitness and accounts and people that have actually walked away with injuries from the event. So you can read that book and see and learn all about the effects that the ranch does have. And we'll go now to any photos. There's one photo. This does happen a lot at the ranch, cattle mutilations. And oddly enough, one of the recent episodes had a mutilation. And the strangest part about the mutilation was that I believe it was that the animal never did decompose. It was still in like its alive state, which is very peculiar, to say the least. Christopher, says Rebecca, have you ever seen has Christopher ever seen anyone's skin turn green and eyes grow large and dark from a UFO? I never have seen it. I have heard of it, but I've never seen it. So thank you for that question, Rebecca. So any other questions in the chat room or audience? Tammy Johnson says, you want to know, I can't really read, let me see.
You wanted to know good stories on Dogman, hoping Gary messaged you. Just random comments she was putting out there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to our next encounter, another one of my favorite encounters. This one has to do with the November 14th, 2004, Southern California coast. And some of you may not be too familiar with this, so I'll read this off to you. This is a very, very interesting case, to say the least. I love this one because on November the 4th, 2004, the U.S. Navy witnessed an unusual encounter that would later be known as the Tic Tac UFO incident, which is kind of a common known incident, but what makes this unique is you're going to find out in a second. The incident happened while the U.S. Nimitz Carrier Strike Group was conducting training exercises off the coast of Southern California. The incident started when the USS Princeton, a cruiser equipped with the advanced radar system, detected multiple unidentified flying objects moving at incredible speeds. Now, the objects were within 40 to 12.2 meters long and shaped like tic tacs that would appear 80,000 feet above, 80,000 feet up. They descend towards the ocean and then hover at 20,000 feet before dropping out of range or blasting back up. Now, get this: two F-8 Super Hornet fighter jets were dispatched to intercept the object. The pilots reported the objects had no visible means of propulsion and could accelerate and change direction instantaneously, which has been reported numerous times. The objects disappeared before the pilots could get a closer look. The incident sparked debate amongst military and government officials, with some suggesting that the objects were extraterrestrial origin. The Tic Tac UFO incident remains one of history's most intriguing, controversial UFO sightings to this date, and you're going to see a photo of that, which is a common photo. But yes, Tic Tacs, UFOs, almost. I've done so many cases where UFOs have shapeshifted. In fact, I got videos of it. We can see them in a V-shaped formation, and then they merge into one humongous craft. It's outstanding. In fact, one of the cases I'm working on now, just to give a small hint, UFOs can be seen almost nightly. I get reports from this person. And her photos are just magnificent. I wish I could air those. But yeah, if you ever see a UFO, watch it closely because very well you can see a shape shifting. Christopher, how long do you think that was? How large do you think that was? I would say, just from what I know from being a star seed myself, all UFO ships are larger than what they appear in the sky. Being aboard a ship, I can tell you for a fact that once you get inside, it is humongous. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you're in a ship, um, you can pretty much manifest and use your mind to create anything you want. But hello, Gary. Hello, Tammy. Everybody, thank you for watching tonight. Okay, so we'll move on to our next encounter, our next case here. This is the August 1952, West Palm Beach, Florida. 1952. And 1952 is kind of a good year for UFO incidences. There's been at least, I'd say, a dozen encounters that have took place in 1952, which is kind of a significant year. And I might get into that further as we go along. So in 1952, Boy Scouts and their Scoutmaster, witnessed a strange object near Florida's Everglades. The object was approximately the size of a car and emitted a bright light. The Scoutmaster, D.S. Sonny DeVers, claimed that the object burned and temporarily blinded him with a beam of light. Imagine that coming down and blinding you right in the eyes. This incident caused quite a commotion in West Palm Beach, with rumors spreading quickly. The military was called to investigate, but no official explanation was ever given. Some speculate that it was a top-secret government experiment, while others believe it was a visit from extraterrestrial life and that he was a victim of an alien abduction. Now, despite the lack of solid evidence, the sighting remains a popular topic amongst UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists. To this very day, the mystery surrounding what really happened that summer in Florida Everglades still ongoing. You may see a photo of that here. There's the troops, the Boy Scouts, three little kids, and there's what they thought the flying saucer looked like, imitating the light. And it is true. I mean, I've had people and reports where light has came down, and they can be blinding you if you look directly at it for too long. It can blind you. Not, I don't think they do it deliberately, but I don't think some of the spaceships don't know their own power. Hello, Barbershop. Hello, Tammy. Hello, everyone. And I've been in MUFON for several years now, and I can honestly say that I've done almost close to 80 to 90 cases so far, thereabouts in between there, and almost half of those cases are either unknowns or legitimate UFOs. So thanks, Gary. And our next case is another one of my most favorite cases, the Gorman dogfight. On October 1st, 1948, Second Lieutenant George F. Gorman, a veteran World War II fighter pilot serving in North Dakota, Air National Guard. Now, he was flying a P-51 Mustang on a training flight when he noticed a strange object in the sky. At first, he assumed it was just a weather balloon or some other sort of experimental aircraft, thingamajig going on. But as he got closer, he realized, okay, it was something else, entirely something else. The object was described as a glowing, pulsating ball of light that seemed to be following Gorman's plane. He attempted to outmaneuver the object, but it seemed to be able to anticipate his moves and stay right on his tail. After several minutes of this strange aerial maneuver dance, Gorman decided to try and make a run for it. He dove his plane towards the ground and escaped from the object's pursuit after a harrowing 27 minutes. Many theories have been put forth regarding this Gorman incident, from extraterrestrial visitation to a secret government experiment. Some believe that Gorman misidentified a weather phenomenon or other natural occurrences, and then some believe that this legitimately was an encounter with extraterrestrial beings. And we may have a photo here, I believe, and there's the Gorman and his men, and there's the plane in the background. And there's also a newspaper clipping. If you want to look this incident up, you can go online and find some articles about that and read further. But yeah, I mean, back in those days, I mean, if you were in the aircraft or Navy, a lot of times if you had a UFO encounter, they would tell you to hush up about it, or make you, or either that they'd fire you for it. They didn't want that ruining their reputation. And see, hi Linda, nice to see you tonight. All right, shall we get into some more of the deeper, darker UFO encounters? We'll move on to the next one. On November 7th, 2006, O'Hare International, Chicago. Now listen very closely to this one, folks. This one might be a little bit disturbing. On November the 7th, 2006, 12 Chicago O'Hare International Airport 12 employees reported seeing a saucer-shaped craft with a metallic surface hovering over gate C-17 at around 4:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's in daylight hours, mind you. Okay, this object was first seen by a ramp employee pushing back United Airlines Flight 446, departing for Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, the employees informed the flight crew of the object above. the aircraft. Pilots, airline management, and mechanics also witnessed the object, but air traffic controllers did not see it, and the craft did not appear on radar. Imagine that there was a craft, but it did not appear on radar. The witness described the object as the size of a car with a smooth metallic surface. It was hovering silently in the air and appeared motionless. The object was visible for several minutes before it suddenly just vanished. And the same thing with my very first UFO encounter. I saw it in the sky, and I thought, what in the world? And then it just vanished. Now, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, investigated the incident, but could not find an explanation for what the witnesses saw. The FAA suggests that the object was probably a weather phenomenon. How many times are we going to hear that um, excuse? Like a hole punch cloud. The witness uh, mandated that what they saw was not a weather phenomenon, and they made it very clear they believed they saw a UFO. And I believe we have a photo or two of that, and there it is. The photo on the right is the colorized photo, and that is what the saucer looked like. And these are legitimate photos. These aren't photoshopped or anything. These are real. And yes, Linda could have vanished into a portal. UFOs do time travel. In fact, when you're up in space, there is no time. It's all everything is just here and now. So yes. Now, there was no weather factors involved in any of these cases. I do believe every case you're hearing tonight is a legitimate UFO case. And hope you enjoy the photos. And thanks everybody. We're going to move on now to the second case. This one might be a little bit more disturbing. This took place November 23rd, 1953, Lake Superior, Michigan. And you're going to love this case. Okay, so, excuse me. On November 23rd, 1953, a training mission involving an F-89 Scorpion jet fighter from Kamoli Air Force Base in Michigan took an unexpected turn when the jet disappeared over Lake Superior's. First Lieutenant Felix was piloting the jet with Second Lieutenant Robert Wilson as the radar operator. The pilots scrambled to follow a radar contact. The pilots scrambled to follow a radar contact that ground-based radar operators near Sault Ste. Michigan, had detected. Now the contact was moving erratically and rapidly, and the ground radar operators could not identify it. Now, despite pursuing the contact for several minutes, Molka and Wilson could not get closer to it. Eventually, the contact vanished from the radar, and the jet was never seen or heard from again. It just vanished from radar, never seen or heard from again. Now, get this, the Air Force conducted an investigation, but again, they could find no explanation for the disappearance. While the Air Force suspects the jet might have crashed into Lake Superior, no wreckage was ever discovered. In fact, the jet was on a training mission and was being flown by experienced pilots, very experienced pilots, and it's difficult to believe that the disappearance was an accident. Now, many theories have been proposed to explain what might have happened to the jet, including that it was shot down by a Soviet aircraft, or suffered a malfunction, or crashed into Lake Superior, or was hijacked by aliens. However, the truth may never be known exactly, and the case will likely continue to be debated for years to come. There's a photo of the memorial in loving memory of Jean. Born October 21st, 1926. Disappeared November 23rd, 1953. Intercepting a UFO over Canadian border as pilot of a F-899 jet plane. There's a picture of him as well, and very nice young pilot, and there's a picture of both of them. Two great photos, and each case that we're counting down gets a little bit more intriguing, a little bit more in depth, and more enjoyable. I love these top 10 lists. And moving on to our next case.
That's all I have pictures for. So we're going to keep going and we're just going to listen to Chris and I'll see if I can't search pictures while he's talking. All right, guys. A couple questions here for you first, Chris.
Oh, sure.
Tammy Johnson said, "Oh crap, it's another Philadelphia experiment." What do you think of that?
That could be. And Bigfoot says, so they just disappeared, and not the UFO Soviet aircraft over Lake Superior. Would be scarier than a balloon. Oh yeah. And let's see. Sonny says, Chris, here the UFOs cloaked in cloud in Alaska, and one coming out of the volcanic to meet the UFOs, trying to hide in the clouds. Usually, when you see a UFO, they don't usually make any sounds at all. Although there's been a few cases where there has been sounds. The plane being hidden in Greece. Joking. Haha. You go to Greece to find it, let me know. Get a photo of it. We'll put it on the show. Thank you, Tammy, and thank you, everybody. We'll move on here. Let's see here. We're going to move on here to the. Oh, wait a minute. Got a advertisement that came up here. Let's see. Okay, this is from Henderson, Nevada, 2024. Now, this is one of the latest UFO sightings. May 31st, 2024. According to, I'll leave off names for this one, and her friends were enjoying a night out in Henderson, Nevada, when something extraordinary caught their attention. At around 10 p.m., they spotted a bright round light shimmering in the sky. They acquired a video showing this mysterious object moving in a diagonal pattern before shifting up and down at one point. A plane zooms past, but it never gets close to the potential UFO. And this next case, I'm reading this one. I read that case because it was a more recent case, and I can share that. But now we're going to go with 2014. Okay. Now, this is a very, very interesting case. I want to read this to you because during another recent UFO sighting, this is 2014, so a few years back, John Shepard was camping near Kingston, Canada, at the Twins Shores campground. Late that evening, as he was extinguishing a bonfire, he noticed several lights dancing in the sky over the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Shepard. He captured 22 minutes of unusual sightings on his cell phone. I can't show that here. And sent the footage to the MUFON UFO network, and the incident was later listed as one of the top 10 MUFON sightings of 2014. So this made our top 10 list of 2014. And if I could show you videos of that, I would be more than happy to, but unfortunately I can't. But now we're going to move on to something
Hold
a little
on
bit.
one second. I got a picture here for you.
Ooh, fantastic.
That's the gentleman. You said John Shepard.
Yep. And that's John Shepard there. And this was 2014, so not too long ago. I did include a few local ones. Now we're going to get into something a little bit more interesting, and this is not interesting, but I should say, but more familiar, because this is probably one of the most widely known UFO encounters of all times. And everybody's heard this before. Betty and Barney Hill from 1961, and their daughter Kathleen Martin can tell the story just beautifully. But this was one of the most famous UFO sightings and alien abduction cases in history. Now, Betty and Barney Hill were driving on a rural New Hampshire road one night when a bright light seemed to start following them. When they eventually got home, now it was daylight. Their clothes were dirty, ripped, and the watch had, of course, quit working, and they couldn't remember a thing. During a session with a psychiatrist, they later recalled being probed and violated by aliens during an abduction. This case was investigated by Project Blue Book and inspired by several movies and documentaries. And before we leave here tonight, I will tell you about my recent case with UFOs. But I'm going to move on to something a little bit more interesting. Barbara and the Lizard Man. The Lizard Man. This is Claremont, California, 2006. I saved some of the best ones for last because a woman named Barbara Lamb, a psychiatrist who observed crop circles, claimed that a reptilian figure appeared in front of her house one day, and he was tall and had piercing yellow eyes. She said, while while she was normally not fond of snakes and lizards, this reptile appeared friendly and welcomed. So she reached out to touch his hand. The gentleman, the lizard, vanished instantly, just vanished. And suddenly, as he had appeared, he just, like I say, vanished. That was in 2006, Claremont, California. I do know of those reptilians, those lizard people, because I have had encounters with those. They are very, very friendly. And we're going to move on now to one of my the most famous and favorite UFO cases. This is the Broadhaven Primary School, 1977. In 1977, a group of children from Broadhaven Primary School claimed to have seen a UFO near their playground. The teachers of the school refused to believe them, but when the children were separated and taught and asked to draw pictures of the experiences, they all came up with the same drawings of a flying saucer. Now, each one of those individuals, students were interviewed. I've seen and heard the interviews and read the transcripts. They all gave the same exact story and same exact details separately. They weren't in cahoots. These are their stories individually, and they all had the same stories and same details, which proves that this incident did happen. In fact, one of the students recently did a documentary. For those who may have seen this, I forgot the name of the documentary now, but she went back to that area and relived all of that, kind of like a not like a regression, but just kind of went back and went through everything again, and she was able to even get more details that way. And do we have any questions in the chat room before I continue to the last few? And there's the picture of the students there, as you can see. Um, Aside from his own, what UFO encounter stands out to Christopher the most? Probably one of the cases I did with MUFON a few years back. A gentleman was outside and he was having a friend over. They were kids at the time, and they were just enjoying themselves one evening, and they decided to go hang out about 9:30 at night by the barn, and they saw this black saucer come over. Now the saucer didn't take just maybe anywhere from 2 to 5 seconds to fly overhead, and and this is at 9:30 at night, mind you. During those 2 to 5 seconds, they're both like, "What in the world is that?" After those 5 seconds were over, the sun was coming up. It's now 5:30 in the morning. They had lost that much time. And in fact, his friend decided, "Oh, that's it, I'm going home." So he took off home. But imagine having that much missing time. In only 5 seconds, it seemed like it went by. That's one of the cases that really stands out. Sonny says, Chris, Betty Barney Hill, one of the best abduction star systems mapped, and was deemed correct. Yet years later, after the star system was found by NASA, it is true. Betty did describe the star system, and their abduction is 100% legitimate. It is true. Sonny says, what was the African or Australian school? I'd have to go back to my notes and look. Let me do that real quick for you. I'll get you some answers. The Broadhaven Primary School was the name of the school, by the way. This next case involves disappearance. Australia, 1978. Australian pilots Frederick was flying over the Bass Strait when he encountered something he couldn't identify. Now, according to the Australian news, he got on his radio to notify the traffic control there was a strange vessel, the likes of which he had never even seen before, circling him, as if it was taunting him. It is hovering and it is not an aircraft, were the last words he said before he completely disappeared and has never been seen or heard from again. They have no evidence or anything that shows his whereabouts or what might have happened. Now we're going to move on to the Pentagon. The Pentagon, 1952, Arlington, Virginia. And this one, the most favorite cases of mine. I like a lot of cases. I like almost all of them that I work with. In 1952, in which seven identified objects in 1952, seven identified objects appeared over secure airspace near the Pentagon and was captured on film. The crafts were registered on radar and jets were immediately sent to investigate these suspicious strange objects hovering. Now, when the American jets approached the airspace, the seven objects disappeared from radar. When the jets landed, the objects returned to radar once more. President Harry S. Truman was notified, and Air Force Intelligence Director General John Samford held a press conference saying that these were reports made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It's this group of observations that we are attempting to resolve. There was no resolution, which seems to be the case with many UFO sightings. And now for one of the last ones before I get to my encounter. This is New Hampshire, 1965. A hitchhiker named Norman Mascarlo saw five strange red flashing lights in the woods. As TV station's WMUR recounts, the source of the lights suddenly came towards him at a frightening speed, dove into a ditch and avoided being hit before flagging down a motorist. The police investigated the area and they saw an aircraft with the same bright red lights speeding off. Today, the event is celebrated with a yearly extra UFO festival. And that is the last of the cases. Now I will open up for questions, and then I will get to my encounter from just a few nights ago. Has Christopher ever talked to? See, no, I've never spoke to Travis Walton before. I have not had a chance to speak with him yet.
Brian, I've talked to Travis a few times. I consider Travis a friend of mine. Whenever we meet up at a conference or somewhere, usually we'll hang out and I'll hang out at his table with him and stuff. Travis is just a fantastic guy. I've listened to his presentation and like I said, I've sat and talked with him one on one. And the best way I can describe it is I firmly believe that Travis believes exactly what he is saying happened to him. And I know that might sound a little cagey, but I can't say that everything happened to Travis exactly the way it happened. And he'll even kind of tell you that. But I will say he firmly believes what happened to him was real. And the movie was fantastic. But if you listen to him talk, you can hear him say, the movie was a movie. It wasn't necessarily what really happened to him. It had some components to it that were real and some were more dramatic for the screen. But Travis is a great guy. If you ever get a chance to listen to him speak or to meet him in person, I highly, highly recommend it.
Hello, Little Twisted. Hello, thanks everybody for watching tonight, and I hope you enjoyed our list of the top 10, maybe top 15 UFO encounters of all times. I saved the best ones for last. Now we'll get to my encounter that happened recently.
We got two more questions real quick for you, Chris, before we jump over. Little Twisted wants to know, are lizard and reptilian the same? Are they the same thing and just interchangeable words, or two different types of entities?
They are the same, although if you pay close attention, some of the lizards and some of the reptilians do have differences. Just like humans, every human has a different look, and so do the ETs. So then
Okay.
you won't see any two the same.
So they're the same race essentially, just different as individuals.
Right.
And then Crystal J said, "Was it her imagination, or did you say that the lizard people were friendly?"
Oh, yeah, they are friendly. Yes, they are. I'm not saying every ET or every lizard or every reptilian is going to be friendly. Most of what I've encountered and seen are just like not every human's friendly, but there are some that very well are.
All right. All right. Back to you, Chris. Go for it.
Uh, as everybody knows, I am a star seed. I was from the Theta Reticuli, and of course, my family does come and visit me and take me aboard craft periodically. And I had another encounter just recently, a few nights ago, and I was actually outside, and I just asked my family, if you're there, if you see me, just give me a sign. I said, just or even a sound, just give me something I recognize, something that lets me know you're there. So I waited a few minutes and didn't hear nothing, so I went ahead and went back in. Just as I'm coming in through the door, I got a knock on the door, bang, bang, bang. I opened up the door to look, and there was nobody there. But then it hit me. Okay, that's my family saying, "Yeah, we're here with you." Hi, Rebecca, and hope everybody enjoyed this tonight. Do you have any more questions or anything anybody wants to ask me before we close?
Anything else out there, guys? Oh, here we go. Sunny. Chris, are you part of the National Federation?
I'm not sure what the National Federation is. I know I'm a part of the Zeta Reticuli star family, and I've been aboard craft. I was born aboard craft, and my job here on Earth is to heal and help other people. And then if I can't heal myself, my father and my family does aboard craft. I've been aboard craft numerous times. I remember a lot of it. Please, yeah, put your questions in capital letters, and I'll be sure to answer them. What is the hot spot for
Right.
UFO sightings? Of course, one of the biggest hot spots would be, of course, Skinwalker Ranch. But I mean, if you go out to, let's say, Arizona or even California, you're going to see quite a few sightings. We get a lot of sightings in Arizona, a lot of them.
Sunny, if you want to expand a little bit on what you mean by the Federation, go ahead and put that in there, and we'll see if we can't narrow down what you're talking about.
Rebecca says, where in New Hampshire was the last encounter and what town?" I couldn't tell you that right offhand. Rebecca, I'm sorry about that.
Is she referring to the last encounter you were talking about? Was that New Hampshire?
Um,
Not yours, but the previous one?
I can, yeah, let me see if I can pull that up and find out for you, Rebecca. Let me get that answer for you.
While you're pulling that up, a little twisted wants to know, how do you know if you are a starseed?
I know that because my family. I know that because I recognize my family. I do have memories clear back when I was a kid of being a family. I remember so many details. And the older I got, the more it made sense. And then as I got older, I began to put the pieces together. And over the last couple of years, being aboard craft and being with my family, we've everything's been explained. I always knew I was not from here in a way. And then as I began to get older, I began to have more encounters and overcome my because as a child I had a fear of UFOs and aliens and things that came around at night. I didn't know what they were. I would hide from them. But then I also knew that in my dreams or even when I was being taken somewhere, the people I was with were very friendly. Because as a kid, my family would come around as human form, very wonderful people. And then as I got older, they came around in their more normal form, and I began to recognize, remember, and it's been real peaceful. I'd have to do a show someday just based on that. But yeah, it's wonderful to know that my family's there when I need them, and I still get to go home sometimes.
And he followed that up with, how can one know if they're a starseed?
Um, yeah, a lot of it's going to do with feelings. I mean, if you feel like you definitely aren't not from this world, I think you'll have a kind of like a gut feeling that overwhelms you. Um, That's basically the only way I can describe it. It's just like you just have a feeling, you know. Plus, you might have dreams of things that are unusual. Like when I had a kid, I had dreams of my family, but they were human form and they were beautiful. And then sometimes, then as I got older, I realized they weren't dreams. I was actually being taken aboard craft and stuff. And my family was wonderful. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without them.
Now, Rebecca clarified when she was asking about the New Hampshire encounter. She said the hitchhiker. Does that tell you what she's talking about? The hitchhiker encounter in New Hampshire? What
Yes,
town did that happen in?
yeah, um, yes, Exeter, Exeter, New Hampshire, Exeter,
Exeter. Okay.
Exeter. Okay, yeah.
All right.
That was
And then
19.
Sunny. Oh, go ahead.
That was 1965, Rebecca.
And Sunny followed up and said, Chris, the National Federation is the human group that works with the aliens. Are you a part of this group?
Not that I'm aware of. No, what I do, and to be completely honest, is I work with my family, my mother and father. My father is a healer, and he brings. What I do is I come. I'm here on Earth, and I heal people with my healing abilities, my remote viewing healing skills, and different things. But if I can't heal somebody myself, my father will then he'll be notified somehow. I tell him what he does. He takes these people and puts them aboard craft, and then he can heal them with our technology. And then bring it back, and they are perfectly healed. We can do wonders. I've tried to ask my father exactly how he does all of this work, and he just kind of he does his job, I do mine, and it's great. The
Brian,
actual
go ahead.
the actual healing itself is done. What we do is we bring people aboard craft that need healing. They are laid down on this like floor, and I don't kind of like a see-through floor, I guess. But there's a blue light that comes over the body, and that's the light of healing, and it is programmed to that person's particular needs on the big like computer screen that my father uses.
Brian Barber is asking, why do you think Arizona and out west is so much more active than the rest of the U.S.?
I think it's because of the desert area and there's more room for them to land. I can't say for sure, but it seems to be the hot spot. Usually, okay, so the hottest places are usually like deserts, countrysides, wide open spaces, areas with lots of crop or cattle. UFOs seem to be more dominant or prominent to that area.
All right, we got lots of questions, guys. This is great. Keep them coming. Crystal J wants to know, when you say go home, do you mean like astro travel or in your human vessel?
Human vessel. I very seldom ask for travel. I can. I have done it before, but usually I go. Usually my family comes and takes me aboard the vessel. See, we have our home base, and then we have our traveling like vehicle. But the home base just stays there; it doesn't move.
All right, here switching gears a little bit. A little twisted said he dreamed of a lion man. Does that resonate with you, or does that have any meaning to you?
I've never heard of a lion man. I know a lot of times ETs will come. What they do is sometimes to make people more peaceful, especially kids, will come and they will come in different forms that are more common or more innocent to children or even to adults. Something that's not going to scare them off. I've never heard of them coming as a lion, but it is possible. It's whatever a person feels comfortable with is what they will do.
Okay. Somebody had asked about Betty and Barney Hill. They were in New Hampshire. They lived in Portsmouth. I wanted to look that up real quick. Rebecca was asking if Exeter. I don't know about Exeter, but I know they lived in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, so it's conceivable it was pretty close. Sunny has a question for you. Chris, is your father a human healer or an alien healer?
As far as I know, he could do both, but I do know for a fact he is a human healer because his job is if I would go down and find people like I'm here, I look if I know somebody needs a healing, I will. If I can't do it myself, my father is notified. And that person is then at some point taken aboard craft. A lot of times at night, we heal them and then we bring them back.
All right, and I think Linda's got a question. Oh no, sorry. Hey, K-Die, or is that KD? How about Hudson Valley and the Catskills in New York? Linda Zimmerman is a local author. Have you heard of her?
I know Linda Zimmerman. Yeah, she's a great person to get to hear. If you ever hear her give a speech, you'll love it.
Oh, fantastic. Rebecca, Portsmouth is about 20 minutes from Exeter. All right, thanks, Rebecca. I couldn't find that in that quick of a time. Crystal J wants to know, what kind of healer are you and your father, more for mental or physical things?
Oh, definitely physical. I do what is known as psychic healing, or some people call it remote healing. And then also just by my words itself sometimes can make a big difference in how somebody feels. Um, and then things like cancer, leukemia, severe illnesses, or even broken bones. My father, we can take those people aboard craft at a time when they're more comfortable, like at night, and then we can heal them with our technology. And then our light, it's a blue light that comes over and heals the body, and then when they're done, we just take them back to wherever they're at, and it's almost like it's wonderful. I mean, the person can literally be healed. I myself, have healed people who couldn't see too well, couldn't walk too well. Like we had a young child this past December, had strep throat, double ear infection, so much stuff going on, and I was able just within the first 2 minutes, I was able to get that kid up and at him just like that. He never took any antibiotics. He went back to school the next day perfectly fine.
Oh, all right, Katie. Thank you, Katie, for telling me how to pronounce your name properly there. Katie said that she was at a UFO meeting she attended. Great books, but the location seems shh. Thank you. Again, referring to Linda Zimmerman there. Brian Barber wants to know, do you see a pattern in alien encounters, like geographically, or the type of people that get encounters, or is there any other pattern that you guys have been able to identify?
Um, I wouldn't say a pattern. Seems like a lot of times encounters will happen in like certain towns. Like there'll be towns that's got like 3 or 4 incidences within just a few days, and then next thing you know, it'll be maybe 4 or 5 days later, there'll be another incident in another town. Like 3 or 4 people report something. So it seems like they just kind of hit areas. I will say that some of the areas that they hit are areas where people need healing the most in some cases, and even try to bring just love to the overall area. Some towns need love, and they will try to dispense love over the town.
Okay, guys, we're starting to wrap up here. Go ahead and get any last questions in. Um, Sunny wants to know, Chris, where is your home in space? What planet and what is the name of the planet? I think you mentioned that a couple times, but she wants some clarification on that.
Yeah, my home planet is Jupiter. We do have a base on Jupiter, and that's where our home base is. And then we have a small craft that we go from there to Earth back and forth. But the main craft is our home, and it stays grounded on Jupiter.
Little Twisted wants to know, can you help him walk better? Can you do a healing for him? How would somebody set that up with you, Chris, if
Yeah,
they wanted
if
your
anybody wants
attention?
to,
Yeah.
if anybody wants a healing, go to my just send me an email at mufon.chris@yahoo.com, and then describe yourself a little bit and tell me what's going on, and then I will perform a healing for you.
And so that we're going to follow up with Brian's question. He said, is it remote healing or do you require physical presence? So it sounds like you do remote healing, right?
Yes, I can do remote healing just by knowing somebody's name. I can perform wonders. I have an assistant that helps me sometimes in a lot of these cases and things I work with. She's fantastic, and between the two of us, you're guaranteed to have a good healing.
All right, there you go, guys. Just reach out to him and he'll get a hold of you and see what we can do for you guys. Rebecca wants to know, Christopher, do you think orbs are related to UFOs?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me for yawning. Orbs and UFOs do have a lot together. A lot of times, what the ETs will do is they'll come down in an orb form and inspect the area, and in some cases, there's actually been healing where some of the ETs have came down in the form of orbs, performed a healing right then and there, and then went back up. So orbs are ETs, and yes, they do heal, and they do. It is kind of like an inconspicuous way of coming around and checking on you.
All right. I think that about wraps up all of our questions, Chris. I think everybody's excited to hear you tonight. Great job. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I want to say thank you to everybody watching, and thank you to my assistant, Rachel. I hope you enjoyed the show here tonight. And thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, everybody.
All right. As Grizzly would say, guys, coast to coast around the world, everybody have a fantastic night. We will catch you all on the next show. God bless everybody.
God bless you.
And let me see. We're going to go out with this one.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. I got here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!
All right, great show.